to grow the revenue of the company, you have to hire the right people, the right salespeople in this case. Because if the company is just rely on for startup, like normally the business owner will do the sales. But for for my company at the moment, to in order for us to grow, 10x, 20x, etc., we need to have the right people.
So this one, I want to go to the next point. This one about it's more going to be more related about your expertise this time. It's about you mentioned about sales. It's a very important aspect in your role. You mentioned you focused about it too, and currently we are just getting out of COVID, and now we just can get out for getting a drink right now. That kind of situation, and still a lot of business are quite skeptical and quite scared about even investing on their people. Investing on hiring new people, investing on developing on their people too, because they're worried about one thing, is about the revenue, and revenue comes from sales. So with that one, I would like to hear about your tips for everyone else. What will be your 5 tips for the businesses to increase their sales in the present challenging moment in 2021?
Thanks for the question. I think this is a great question for everyone, especially after COVID, how to recover, right? So I'm sure that in our audience, you guys have a lot of tips, but I'm just sharing this based on my experience with the current company. So first, in order to grow the revenue of the company, you have to hire the right people. The right salespeople in this case. Because if the company is just rely on for startup, like normally the business owner will do the sales. But for my company at the moment, in order for us to grow, 10x, 20x, etc., we need to have the right people. We need to utilize their skills, especially their network as well, because not everyone know each other, right? I might know these 10 people, but she might know the other 10, and then he might know another 10. So we need to have the right people, have the right network, and train them in order to be able to sell the company vision, the company value, and the solution that we're offering to. The second thing that I would like to say is to embrace the technology into day-to-day sales activities, because a lot of the company, well, I won't say a lot, but like some of the customers that I met before, they don't have any, system to centralize their customer data. Everything, okay. They know that this person buy 5 things from their business, but they don't know if that person is a repeating customer or not. So everything, it comes to technology. When we say technology, it doesn't have to be anything fancy like Salesforce or SAP. It can be Excel. As long as it's not hard paper, because hard paper, when it's wet, all the information will be gone, right? So it can be something simple, but at least you have a centralized system to store your data, understand the needs of your customer, learn from their behavior, their shopping behavior, their shopping trends, so that it can help you to grow the business, especially the sales, because I believe that one business it doesn't have one product. They will have 10, 100 different products. So how can you upsell and cross sell from your current customer? That the technology will help you to do that. The third one is keep training your sales team, because we need to improve our product every day. We need to improve our service every day. So you need to make sure that your sales team is on top of everything. Last week I had an experience of had a training meeting with an insurance company, and instead of focusing on the customer, they just read out the slides, the feature of the product, and the meeting went on for like an hour, and the salesperson didn't recognize that the customer was boring. So keep training them every day. Make sure that they focus on the customer, not focus on what we are selling. So, and the fourth one would be build the best customer experience, because I think it's not too difficult to get new customer, because if you have an interesting product, people will buy it. But if you have a horrible service, people might buy it for the first time, but they will never come back to you. So you can apply, technology like customer service tools like Freshdesk, Salesforce, Zendesk, and this one they have, centralized all of the communication channel from your customer, so that where you are available, where your customer when your customer needed you, right? And the fifth one, I would say that have the right compensation for your sales team. The IT industry that I'm in and the consulting service that I'm doing right now is very competitive. So as long as the salesperson achieves something, essential, they are really popular in the job market. So make sure that you have the right compensation for them. Make sure that they're happy with what they receive back from the company when they contribute something to the company, so that they're not gonna jump to a different company. So those are the 5 tips.
Thank you, V. I think the last one is quite interesting. There's a lot of people doesn't really talk about it. So I want to deep dive a little more, because the thing what you said is very valuable. I think a lot of people can learn from it. What would be your tips then to design a right compensation package for a sales professional for a team?
There are many different ways, like we have base salary, we have commission. That is just a popular way for all of the companies for sale when they hire salespeople. Some salespeople will be driven by numbers, which the more you can compensate them, they will when they grow 100% or 200% revenue for the company, they will be happy. But I think the company needs to understand what their employees want. Some people like money. Some people like, some kind of brand motivation. Some people like, a different way of motivate them when they achieve something, right? So really, the HR, and especially the business owner or the leader of the team, need to understand what the employee wants, and then design the package that's suitable for everyone. Salary wise is something that everyone must have, but it's on the other side, because right now a lot of people they're thinking of employee centric focus. They're on their soft skill at the employee, focusing on the environment from the activity that they do, because this is something that people already started to concern outside of their day-to-day work. So just really understand your employee, because something that works for my company here, it doesn't mean that it will work for your company.
All right, thank you for sharing this point. So viewers, here's the point. If you're looking for increasing your sales revenue in 2021, this is the tips for you from V. Number 1, hire right salespeople. This is very important. And different company has a different aspect of doing this one. So define what is the right aspect to have a right salesperson for your team, and then you hire based on that one. Number 2, focus on connections and build brands, because if you do that one, it's much easier for you to do sales. Number 3, so just to share with you, you can build a lot of connections and even bring brands by even hiring the right people in your team as well too, because the people who has the right brands and the right connections, they can just onboard you with that building connections and brands too. So these two goes together. Number 3, use technology in sales. In the sales, the management is 80% of it. If you have a lot of data, if you're not managing into it, and then you're in trouble. And VSHR, don't think about the fancy tools can be the only way. Based on your revenue, based on your size of companies, a Google Drive spreadsheet could be a great sales tool for you. That way you just use different kinds of formulas and macros. If you have a wealthy companies, if you have some revenue cash, then yes, you can go the extra miles by having the proper CRM systems and so on. Train your sales skill. According to HubSpot, they say that 60 to 70% sales professionals fail their KPIs because they are not trained enough. And the HubSpot second statistics are out of three among 4. So that means 75% sales professionals have no idea what they're doing in the sales space. So in that space, when you are trying to hire that skills people who are really expensive. So even you could have a middle type of sales professionals, and if you really train them, that could be a great asset for you as well too. And that's the thing we just mentioned. It is about, so watchful and train, and just think about in last 2 years, how many training programs do you do? So in the training workspace, one of the thing I'm right now, all the major brands right now in Vietnam, they are primary demand about training their sales team. So focus on your sales team. If you're an SME, if you're a startup, or if you have corporation, if you're not focusing on training your sales team, you are in trouble. So thank you. That's a really valuable point. And that's, if you don't train, I mean, you just hiring more people will not get you more revenues. That's the point. Yeah. And it's not only product training, it's also sales skill training. And there are, like, according to HubSpot, you could train almost, a sales professional need like 35 type of skill set. If you could just Google it, and you can see there are 35 type of skill set a sales professional need to do a great sales. And when it comes to B2B level, it's the next level. B2C is the one type, but B2B in next level of sales professional skill set is needed. Number 5 is about CX management. Yes, customer will drop out. You don't want customer to buy one time and walk away from you. So that was the next tip. And the last one was about having the right compensation for the sales team. So we also mentioned about some key takeaways about how you can design a great compensation package for your sales team. Number 1 is about design a model, but don't stick to it, because you need to understand that what drive to each of your sales professionals. So it need to be fair, but also be related and customized for each of your sales professionals, and have the right sales lead, because that person would be really important. Because the thing you just mentioned, V, is about, it really comes from the sales lead who manage the sales divisions or departments. It have to be the right person, otherwise you are in trouble. So thank you, V. I think those are a really valuable point. So if you're watching, if you're part of your particle businesses, go ahead and use any of them, and all of them I highly recommend, and that can help you to generate more revenue for your company, for your team, or for yourself as a sales professionals to succeed in this present economy in 2021.